Hello, everyone. Jim Laird joining you live from just outside Pacific, Nicaragua. It is a beautiful day here today. This conversation is basically inspired by a call I had yesterday with a young lady who is struggling with weight loss. And just give you a little context, it's really interesting. When I first got into strength and conditioning, I started off in college in the mid 90s. And then, of course, I've been lifting since I was like 12 years old. And I really found coaching women to be a lot easier, particularly in college. I was at Liberty. I was helping out with women's basketball team, with volleyball, with track and field. Then when I went to Arizona, I worked with football, and I also worked a lot with the field sports. And I just really enjoyed coaching the women. They seemed to be a lot more receptive. I enjoyed coaching the guys too, but it's a different kind of attitude. You've got to bring a lot more alpha energy when you're working with guys in the weight room. With women, it's more of a mentorship. And this kind of carried over into when I moved to Lexington. I started working at Lexington Athletic Club. Actually, Arizona, really, I was working in a nightclub. And one of the girls came up to me and asked me to help her with her back pain. And I was able to get her back pain back feeling better really quickly. And she started lifting with me. And she noticed massive improvements. And not only the way she felt, but the way she looked. And, of course, within a month, I was training, majority of the women that worked at this nightclub. And that kind of is where it took off. And then when I got to Lexington, I was at LAC. And everybody was fighting over the football players and, athletes. And I noticed that there wasn't really anybody really training women. Most of the women were doing classes. This was like in the late 90s, early 2000s. And so I started training women, and I started focusing just on having them lift weights, focus on getting them stronger and getting them to eat enough food. A lot of them were under eating and then doing tons of conditioning, and it just never ended well. I included a couple pictures from my Instagram of some of the groups of ladies I worked with. I had a women's powerlifting team. And the one thing I noticed, if women, instead of focusing on weight loss, you can lose weight, but it could be muscle, and then you end up looking like crap. Most women will fall into the cardio conditioning kind of category, and then they'll undereat, and then their metabolism, their engine just gets smaller, right? And then they end up cutting calories to the point where they're down to 1,000 calories a day, and they're having problems losing weight. And they might lose weight, but they end up looking like crap. So I've noticed over the years, if you can get a woman to focus on lifting and getting stronger and have her walk and have her eat enough calories, enough protein, a slight surplus for her, you have to figure that out, but just switching to real food and focus more on getting stronger and adding muscle and making the engine bigger, they just lean down kind of automatically. And then when they do a little conditioning, or they cut their calories back a little bit or adjust their macros, they lose body fat much faster because they have an engine. They've got a big V8 and not a little 2-cylinder, or 1-cylinder engine like my motorcycle. So when training women, one, getting them to focus on body composition, how their clothes fit. Two, get them off the obsession with the scale, unless they're obviously like a wrestler or some sort of MMA fighter where they have a weight class. That's a totally different animal. And then getting them to focus on body composition. I've had women gain 8 to 10 pounds and lose 2 clothing sizes. I actually had one poor girl. She went to the doctor, and she had lost almost 3 clothing sizes, had to get a whole new wardrobe. She looked incredible. And the doctor said, "You're up 10 pounds. You need to stop snacking on treats." And she's like, "You don't understand. I'm smaller. My blood works better." This doctor just could not get off the fact that she had gained weight, but she actually lost sizes. And that's because a pound of muscle and a pound of fat weigh exactly the same. But muscle is like ball bearings or steel or quarters or metal. It's more dense. Fat is more popcorn or feathers. It takes up a lot of space. So when you have excessive fat, you're going to be bigger, right? When you have less fat and more muscle mass, you're going to be more compact and more dense. And, one of women's number one issues is cellulite. And a lot of that comes from muscle loss. You lose muscle, and then the fat kind of looks like, wrinkly. So if you add muscle mass, it smooths the skin out. It makes everything look better. So, even with men too, if you focus on building muscle mass, fat loss becomes one. If you are trying to lean out and you're reducing your caloric intake, lifting and keeping your protein high is going to maintain muscle mass, which is going to make it easier for you to lean down. But a lot of people will just lean down just by increasing the intensity of their strength training as far as lifting, not conditioning. But you need to do some conditioning, but you want to make sure that the conditioning you do isn't something you become super efficient at where you're actually not burning calories. But that's why I really like walking. I really like moderate to low intensity circuits, and then focusing on 2 or 3 days a week, really doing a good full body workout to put muscle mass on. And it works really well. And women like it because they can eat more food. They don't have to walk around eating carrot sticks and cottage cheese all day. They can actually eat salmon and steak and have the odd dessert every now and then. And the women I trained for long periods of time, they looked fantastic. They were really happy because they could eat more food than they ever have. And that's what happens when women lift weights. Good things happen. They become a better version of themselves. Really skinny girls will get more curvy. Really curvy girls will make those curves, I guess, a little more. A curvy girl, how do I put this? A curvy girl it'll just balance itself out a little bit more, whereas a more slender girl will get some curves. And so whatever version you are of yourself, you'll become a better version of that. And that's really what you want to focus on. You want to be the best version of yourself, right? And so I'm doing this on my mobile phone, so hopefully the reception's okay. My internet was not cooperating at my house today, so I hope this turns out all right. But that's basically the gist of it. So if you're a female, if you're a lady, focus on getting stronger, focus on lifting weights, eat enough food, something like the vertical diet template, get outside, fix your circadian rhythm, walk multiple times a day. And I'm shocked at what it'll do for your physique, your confidence. What happens when women actually lift weights with their confidence and their self-worth, their self-esteem. It's really, really one of the best things women can do. I love working with women in the weight room, particularly teams. It's much more of a mentorship kind of experience, which is a little more in my wheelhouse. I can do the alpha gorilla thing, but it's really exhausting to me. So make sure you get on our email list this week. Dr. Stone and I are doing, this week it's on hydration and libation. It's at 10 o'clock on Thursday. You'll get an email Wednesday night to get in on that. You have to register for it. We just did a webinar on burnout. We opened our fundamentals and wellness with coaching for the next week. We're taking some people on that, get in on that so we can coach you up. And that gives you the opportunity to do an HTMA if you want. If you have questions about that, feel free to reach out, message. We can set up a call and I can answer those questions for you. And let's see what else I got going on. Go check out Nika Barbell. People are starting to get their orders in. They're really liking it. Hopefully I'll have my gear here soon. I think it just got into the country. I'm waiting for it to go through customs. I'll be able to show off my coffee mugs and whatever else that we're selling to raise money to build a gym here and also to help the local community. So have yourself a great day. Make sure you get outside, lift some weights, put on some muscle, have a bigger engine. So if you want to lose fat, it becomes a much easier process. Take care.